We are back in the crypto wonderland and we are looking at XRP, asking this question, can we break higher? We're watching other payment assets. Yeah, not large cap, medium cap assets starting to push higher. Payments are now getting the rotation. Money is being rotated into the payments industry, which is somewhat what we really want to see. We talked about this in detail, showing you guys what we are watching. Now that's evolving. So XRP kind of shows you this on a daily chart. Now don't misunderstand this. On a daily, look at your RSI. It's at 55. Okay, what am I trying to give you guys? 3-day chart, a higher time frame structure, shows you that the RSI is 57. It's higher than daily. Great. But when you go on a weekly, it's even more interesting. Weekly shows you the RSI is at 58.6. It's even better. Whoa. So it's like, okay, we have a long way to go up until you see that the monthly is superseding the weekly. Now, if you actually jump on the monthly, where are we right now? On a monthly, the RSI is close to 53.6. That's a great range, 53. You have a long way to the upside. When you top off, you are either close to 75 or you're close to 95. That's a long way from here, and that clearly shows you how much of upside we have. Now, if you are negative on this, there are different approaches to look at. We're going to break all of that down here. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. When we go through all of this and give you guys the idea, you need to keep this in mind. It is happening. For one reason or the other, things are happening as we discussed in last 3 months, in last 6 months, in last 1 year. We go back in time, back test all of those posts for this 900. Now, back then we had like 400, not 900. But right now, the only reason why new people are entering here is because of the legit value which they are receiving. Now, if you enter the market and ask the question, do we have some room to the upside? Let me take you guys through some basics. Altcoins are about to blast off. Bitcoin dominance is breaking lower. We discussed about this from late October when we were kind of reaching this bubble territory. Great. And we made this top, but the RSI showed you the other side. And now you have a kind of head and shoulder breaking to the downside. That's bullish, right? Now you take dollar. Earlier today, I spotted this and informed you guys. Watch. This is a critical support, and if dollar breaks this level of 101, that's super bullish for markets. Let it be stock market, let it be gold, let it be anything priced against dollar. And now you're watching this. It is breaking below that 101 mark. And look at the RSI. That's something to watch, right? So you're getting a lot of confirmation from different sides saying markets are going to go up. You're looking at a safe haven asset which is going up. But something to keep in your mind is when gold goes up along with the stock markets, some people think that the markets are not going to be stable for long enough and they want safety. That's why they're jumping onto safe haven assets. And this is a time where you see Bitcoin and crypto market going up. Not just a small leg, Bitcoin moved from 15,000, 16,000 range all the way up to 45. That's a big move. Now, what the hell are we looking ahead from here? We're still here. We don't have a divergence on a weekly on Bitcoin. So you're still good for a long way up. But while this consolidation happens, you will watch altcoin markets taking off. We discussed about this. We followed it through. A lot of people entered here at the bottom because we doubled down on that. Now we're kind of, doubling from that range. Now, if you take a look at total 3, which is like, you're excluding Ether 2. Why? we are fans of the payments. So we want to first exclude the Ether and, that kind of a smart contract narrative. And we are looking at others. Now, you do get some of the smart contracts like Cardano or VAX, the big caps inside this. But you get the idea. This is how you are trying to separate Ether and look at the other large caps. It shows you it clearly has a triangle pattern. It broke higher, retested, bounced. Moving average on a weekly is now following you to the upside. Whenever that happens, that's a great news because each time you consolidate, you come back down to the moving average and bounce off. That's a huge thing. When the price is below that, that's where the concern is. When the price goes below that, if you make it up immediately, that shows the trend is weakening. But when you get rejected, that's like, get the out. Right? You break below, retest, and get rejected. Whereas if it's the opposite, you break above, stay there, it's the new trend. So the market kind of gives you an idea one or the other trend is weakening. Here it went up, it didn't go much higher, it came back down, showing the sellers are weak. It didn't break this range. So that gave you a lot of data from the market itself. Now that the market is showing you it has enormous strength in it, that's a weekly chart. And when you go on a monthly, it shows you I'm just starting. I have a long, long way to the upside. That means a lot. Now, take all of these ideas and look at XRP chart. This is what we've been discussing for some time. It's not moving and people are getting irritated. But the fact that all the indicators are starting to turn green, look positive, and we are literally waiting for a breakout here. We're getting so close to that. Yes, this is not a weekly or a monthly chart. This is a daily chart. But that does show you there is some room for a breakout and a run to the upside, which is positive, which is fine. Because as soon as you move on to a higher time frame structure, say if I had a chart up here on a weekly, you'll actually see, we deleted that. That's a bad choice. But anyway, if you actually look at this, you'll see a trend line here. This is something you're drawing, trying to connect through all these supports. And what happens is you see that the price actually came below this. We discussed about this all the way from this July. Now it seems like we were kind of spot on. The time we break back above this and do this, that's where you see big pump in XRP. You're doing the exact same thing. The supports, you break below that, you try going back up, but you get rejected. The initial one, as we just discussed, then you go up, do this. The price explodes. Now, back then, you got the divergence then and there itself because, you didn't have a lot of exchanges participating, allowing a lot of new members to jump in. Now, the scenario is different. You have massive volume coming in as a lot of exchanges are listing this asset back in. You have big participants holding on, doubling down on this assets, which actually means like you have a long way to go. We just discussed about the weekly, monthly strength and how high you have to go. But what's negative? If you actually take an idea of saying, okay, this is what I'm looking at, you need to see a breakout on a monthly around 57. That's something you want to watch. If it does break, now that's not negative, that's double bullish. Double bullish for XRP and the entire payment space. Because when XRP goes up, for some reason XLM goes up. You actually see them being highly correlated. So as soon as you see a break of 74 on the weekly chart, it is going to be monumental in terms of price action. You will see big burst coming in. Think about this. In Jan, the end of Jan, when the monthly candle closes, you're watching that the price is at $2. Now, it's not monumental, but from the bottom, if you think about it, like we went to like 0.28. So going up to $2 is a significant move from there if you average down. Then you'll have some volatility, some consolidation, and then you burst. You go up to $3, $5, $6, $8. That kind of a grind is about to start. Most of them won't believe this until they see it in the price. But at that point, is there any opportunity left to make money? No, you need to visualize this. You need to see this coming, maybe a year early, maybe 2, maybe 3, but you need to hold on to it until it does something monumental. Look at ING, it has done like 30x. Look at CAS, it has done like 20x. Look at Render at 10x. So these were opportunities when it was at a lower end. Remember, ING, we were calling it out from $1.3, $1.4. Now it's near, it touched like $42, but I was conservative by $33. Being frank, I told you guys to take profit and move out by 33 because riding from 1.3 to 33 is a huge move. Now don't be too greedy trying to get the top. That's a basic sense. Now, I'm trying to lead you to the direction of watch these assets. Some of them has not done a lot and they're just starting. So you pick one, say you want to pick Rose or GRT. Okay, let's take GRT for that matter. You look at that and you're like, okay, graph is doing fine. And what are you looking at? You simply go on a daily and you're like, okay, where is the RSI? 66. Okay, it's not bad. It has the strength. Bulls are in control. You go to 3-day, you see that the RSI is 71. That's good. You go on to a weekly, you see that the RSI is 74. That shows you something, right? The amount of strength you have is so high. Even back near the all-time highs, you had lower levels of strong bias. But right now, that strength is so much, the underlying strength is showing you it's about to pop. I don't know how high, how much. It's all being posted in the group. I'll actually update this. I'm in a trade in this asset, levered for sure. But you'll actually see me when I'm taking profits from them, right? But when you're writing these, keep in mind, monthly matters. And here it's just starting. Whoa, that would look wild, right? If you are an Elliott wave guy, you'll actually put in the idea of like, say, you're going to see this as the wave 1, the wave 2, the wave 3, like the big burst. Now, there's a monthly chart, so in terms of time, it goes here. But remember, when we start running up, it's just 2 or 3 months. So it would look literally like this. It doesn't look good on the drawing, but when it looks like this on the price action, it's great. But having patience to ride those is going to be super hard. A lot of people are still looking for the bear market to come in, right? The Bitcoin to drop back down to 10,000 from 45, 50,000. Great. If that's your argument, fine. But you need to ensure the fact that market supports you in that idea which you are trying to lay into the market. Bitcoin shows it has some room to top off. Bitcoin monthly is still at 63. You have a long way to the upside. Even if you do consolidate in between before you run up, that doesn't say you're coming down to 10,000. So you go on a weekly and you're looking at all these. Now, the only negative thing you can put in is like, okay, we are way above the trend line. We're close to the resistance, which would actually point you towards, we may actually have a correction. But remember, whenever it goes up, it kind of stays up near that territory for a long period. That's the history. So why go against the history? Because, the normal common sense in the market is not what happens in price action. You have to think a little bit more and then ask the question. Say, you are looking at this on a 3-day chart. Great. I don't know whether you guys actually like the divergence side of things, but I really do. It really helps me and the SI family. Think about this in a way. This bottom and this bottom has some difference for Bitcoin and for the entire market. What's it? This, your wick is here, your candle close is here. So your next lower wick is here. What do you actually see? The basic idea, it's trending up. But at the same time, your RSI does not agree on that fact. It shows you it's trending lower. It doesn't make much sense, right? But what is that really about? Historically, when this happens, what the hell does happen in terms of price action? Now, say you can argue that's just a daily chart. You're zooming in too much. Fine. Great. Perfect. You can actually go on to a 3-day chart, which I would say is a much better argument for sake. And then you're looking at this. You're like, okay, we are kind of moving up. That's the correction day. You're still going up. And the RSI shows you this. So you get a confirmation on a daily, on a 3-day. about the same idea. I'm like, okay, that's fine. For me, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's a hidden bullish divergence. So maybe I'm completely off or wrong on this. But what if we actually see a candle popping like this here? A $10,000, $20,000 candle on a monthly, maybe Jan, maybe Feb, I don't know. But what if that happens? We have seen those in the history. That's going to be something big. Not on a weekly, I'm talking about a monthly. We have seen those. If that's about to enter in Jan or Feb, forget about the halving, forget about the moon boy things. Forget about, $300,000, $500,000 Bitcoin. Because when the market gives you $20,000, $25,000 Bitcoin move for a month, that's kind of a little bit of overextended market. 70-80% run up. So last time, remember this, you started close to like 32,000, you went all the way up to like 58,000. That's a big burst. That kind of shows you the market is getting overextended compared to what it has been doing before. Remember, you started here around 17 and you went up to 29. That was still a great move, big move. But when you see a much bigger move entering in the market, you get to understand taking profits is going to be better. Now, when we talk about taking profits, if you think that your learning curve is longer, you're taking more time to understand things, you're new in the market, it's not weird. That's the same for almost every one of us. Those who have spent enough time in the market have much better knowledge, wisdom based on how the markets work, right? You have the experience by getting whooped, right? The market does that. We all learn that in the hard way. So if you're here new and you need guidance about learning things and going through, I would suggest get a look at the SI family. 900 plus members are already there taking benefit of what is happening. You can, being honest, at least I think next couple of weeks for one-on-one sessions are completely booked. So if you're entering thinking about getting a one-on-one session in next week itself, it's going to be really hard unless you are in the top 3 levels where I do open extra slot just for them, right? Because they have more one-on-one sessions. But if you are looking just to understand when I'm entering a trade, where I'm exiting a trade, and you can wait for 2 or 3 weeks to get a one-on-one session, this is going to be a massive opportunity, because the way I believe is that we are going to see something massive. Remember, this double bottom was something we highlighted when the price was 200. If you go back, look at Twitter, YouTube, with people with 200,000, 300,000, maybe much bigger accounts were saying you're about to go down. When I was saying, look guys, you have a double bottom. You have a bullish divergence, not even hidden bullish divergence, which was strong. So we should go up. Now, the same asset, when it was at 328 or 350 last time, I told you it's about to drop. Maybe the last week of May, saying this is what you're about to watch. And the price dropped to 200. So there are some things which work in the market for some reason, who knows. But if you are looking for those kind of things, use this link in the description below to reach me through Patreon. And if you are in YouTube, that's in the description below. But if you're watching the same video on Twitter, then it's in the bio. You can reach me there. So guys, if you actually received value, smash that like button for me. And if you have 2 or 3 minutes extra, check this channel out. This is one of my old channel. I haven't put a new video there. It's been some time, but for sure in next 3 months, 6 months time, when we are out of this crypto market and I have a lot of time, I'm going to start doing this. That's a real life thing. That's my life, which I'm putting in there. So that's it for today, guys. I'll meet you on the next video. Bye for now.